Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our membership webinar. Um, we love to start on time and also end on time because we know your time is pretty important. But one of the things I want to point out, just two things. At our last meeting, we ended the meeting with a call to action. We focus on membership and best practices. Now, each month, we're going to be giving you a little nugget of best practices that if you follow these, you will see results and some type of impact on your membership. So this month, we're going to be talking about setting inspiring club membership goals. So you will see at the end of this webinar, expect the call to action. And that call to action is going to focus on, of course, goals. Now, the first time we did this, we asked a very simple question. Are you asking people to come to your meetings and also to your projects? Can you just raise your hand so we can see? Oh, I'm sorry. This is a webinar, so we can't see your hands. But next month, we're going to have a little poll just to see if you're actually doing some of the things that we're talking about here. Now, that was point one. Point two is that we have 10 remaining topics. And we thoroughly believe that Rotarians actually learn from Rotarians who's actually out in the field doing things. So if you go to the Zone website and take a look at these topics, and you think you have some special insight on any of these topics, drop me a line. Send it to my email address, which is Lloyd W. Campbell Jr. at gmail.com. That's LLOYDWCAMPBELLJR at gmail.com. I will put this in the chat so you can have it. But what we like for you to do is give us your name, the topic that you think you have some special insights on, and also contact information. And please only send me emails. WhatsApps, other stuff, it would get lost in the ether, and you'll never hear from me. So, with all that in mind, I'd like to welcome our moderator, Tom Gump, and I think you might know the guy. And Tom, take it away.
Well, thank you, Lloyd W. Campbell Jr. I appreciate the introduction. As Lloyd said, my name is Tom Gump. I'm aide to our Rotary International president, and membership is my passion. I'll actually be serving as the Rotary International Membership Growth Committee chair next year. And I'm super excited about the guest panelists that we have today who are going to be talking about setting club membership goals. And we prepared so that each of these panelists has a certain area of expertise when it comes to setting club membership goals. So we're going to get right into it because, like Lloyd said, we want to make sure that we finish on time. So first of all, we have president of the Rotary Club of Edina Morningside in Minneapolis, USA, Bokar Kane. So President Bokar, how did you originally hear about the action plan, and do you use it in setting your goals for the year?
Well, good evening, Tom Gump. Good evening, fellow panelists. Thanks for having me, first of all. And the first time we heard about the Rotary or the way of setting these goals was when we were in Singapore. So I was able to get to Singapore at the convention. And there I saw beyond the goals. First, I saw the vision statement. Together we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe in our communities and ourselves. So back when I came back to Edina, where I lead the club, which is I'm president of the Edina Morningside, as Tom mentioned. So I said, how do you break these into where they align with the Rotary Action Plan, which is increasing our impact, expanding our reach, enhancing participation and engagement, and also increasing our ability to adapt. So once I've learned that in Singapore, so it was actually, you presented it, Tom, with, to everybody. I was really fascinated. So from there, I said, what are the pillars our club can work on or under to make sure everything that we do align all the way up to the Rotary action plan.
I was at that meeting, at your first meeting of the year, and I was very excited to see that the club actually wanted to stay for a half an hour longer to talk about the action plan and what it could do to help you grow the club. So my question is, you knew about it and you utilized it in your club. How do we get the message out to other club presidents? Because nothing happens in Rotary unless it happens at the club level.
I agree with you 100%. And actually, there's a very nice path in which we can take, because the Rotary action plan, you can exactly align it 100% with your goals. Like, let's say we talk about increasing impact. So that could be creating a new project, community service project that would align 100% with that, increasing the impact. You can also increase the club donation to RI from X to Y. You can also increase local grants. With those three, you can automatically, you'll be able to not just meet your goals locally, but also the Rotary goals. And then there's a model in which we can share so everybody can follow that. The same is valid for when you talk about expanding our reach. So that would be growing our club membership from, let's say, 60 to 67 or 70. So that be something that we can do at a club level to be able to impact each one of those pillars of our action plans. That's just to name a few. You also can do more international service project, right? Higher funding that again will align with that second pillar. Let's go to also enhancing participation and engagement. We can do what we call Rotary in the workplace. So those will align. We can do board meeting schedules. We can do fire chats. All of these will align with that. And just to make sure that we cover all four pillars, increasing ability to adapt, we can do fire chats. We can do speaker committees. So we can do that to not just energize our club members, but also to create a much bigger impact. And it would align 100% with our action plan. And again, these are pillars we can share how we done them according to our goal that we have. And then it would actually help Rotary move forward.
Well, Bocar, this was a great way to start. I love how you gave the vision statement, where we want to be as an organization, and how those 4 action plan priorities focus on the participants to get us to that vision statement. So please stand by, because we may have more questions for you later. But right now, we have Theron in the background who's going to put up a poll that we're going to ask a question. And the question is, has this helped you focus on goal setting? And your options are yes, it introduced new ideas, yes, it empowered me to act, or not at all. You only can choose one choice. And the answer is, most answers, 68%, is yes, it introduced new ideas. And that's one of the great things about these webinars, is it gives you actually concrete ideas that you could implement at your clubs and districts. So thank you, Bocar. We're now going to move to PDG Andy Hagan from Brownsville, Texas, USA. And Andy, if you could turn on your screen, and I want to ask you, you are involved in visioning process. Can you tell us if you recommend the clubs using this when they're setting their membership goals?
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. I'm a member of the Rotary Club of Brownsville Sunrise, and 2.5 years ago, we adopted and implemented a club visioning plan. This plan was originally formatted by the International Visioning Facilitation Council, who's been involved in rolling out plans and certifying visioning facilitators for over 22 years, Tom. And so, as part of this effort, we convened our club leadership and interested members. We needed a representative body because we felt that the club visioning process lends itself to providing a voice to all of our members and allowing them an opportunity to direct the journey in which we will undergo for the next 3 years.
Wonderful. And when you conduct these facilitations, do you use an outside facilitator or does the club just do it themselves?
Yes, as a matter of fact, both my wife, Elsa Cardenas Hagen, and I are district visioning team members. But in this particular instance, as we introduced club visioning in my club or our club, we stood down and became a member. So not to influence, if you will, or have that perception that we were leading the discussions, but rather a participant as everyone else who was in attendance that day. And so we do ask for outside facilitators. They are in-district facilitators that were certified as well. And they're there as objective facilitators. And in no way they literally make a conscientious effort not to steer or lead the group, but allow through consensus and through the feedback that they're receiving, derive the goals and objectives for the club.
Wonderful. And if you do a facilitation, how often do you have to do it? When do you renew it?
We would recommend, and in this instance for our own club, we're on our 3rd year. So each 3-year period is important that we revisit the goals and objectives of the club. Because as you know, we have an influx of new members and maybe perhaps Rotarians transferring from other clubs into our club. And so this gives them an insight of how we derive these goals and objectives and how we prioritize them. And it gives them that opportunity to engage and help to be a part of the determination as to what club fundraisers we engage in, what will be our community and international service projects, and it goes on from there. So with that, I think the biggest contribution is that it increases engagement from all of our members.
That's great. And I'm sure they have lots of buy-in once they've, put in those good ideas and you actually implement them at the club. So I understand that you actually have some slides that you can quickly walk us through what the visiting process would be like.
Yes, Tom, thank you. And Farron, if you'll bring up the slides. This PowerPoint is just a brief excerpt of what we provided to our club members who were unable to attend our visioning process, and we capsulated this. So visioning, of course, we talk about the Rotary Club of Brownsville doing this back in June of 2022. And then next slide, Farron. And it's an opportunity as part of the club visioning because we want to embrace the idea that it's a living management tool that helps to define a shared commitment, provides long-term direction, creates a framework to establish goals and objectives, and it optimizes the use of all available resources at all levels, club, district, zone, and Rotary International. Next slide. And this plan also provides for sustained club leadership. We ask that our members attend this visioning process, but it's also that our key leadership, those, for example, like our existing or current club president, the club president-elect, and nominee, all are in attendance because as it's a 3-year plan, this will help them to understand the direction that the member body wants to go in the upcoming years. And then ultimately it helps to ensure accountability and that we're tracking the goals relative to our action plans and ultimately measuring the outcomes. So it is a multi-year plan. And in this instance, we choose a 3-year plan. It provides for a greater sense of consensus, continuity, consistency, and effective communication across 3 years. Next slide. So then, in mindful of our Rotary International vision statement, if you emphasize together, people create change in our communities and in ourselves, this is what our undertaking is and our purpose of the club visioning, so that everyone has a voice, everyone has an opportunity to provide feedback and input as to the direction of the club. Next slide, Farron. Thank you. And of course, we're mindful of Rotary's action plan, which delineates the 4 strategic priorities, that is, increasing our impact, expanding our reach, enhancing participant engagement, and increasing our ability to adapt. And with that, next slide, what our challenge was and what we attempt to do in visioning is to internalize those 4 strategic priorities and bring it down to the club level. And what does that mean internally to our members to ensure that what we do going forward is relevant to not only our members, but the perception from our community, whether it be community assessments for club service projects, whether it's local and international, and how do we engage our members and truly linking that passion with their compassion to the activities that we had consensed with. So you start with visioning, you devise a 3-year master plan, then you establish your goals and action steps, and then it continues to circulate. And of course, what we also do is revisit our action plans to see that we're on task and on target quarterly and until the end of each year, and we report out. Next slide, please. With that, we shared the visioning results. Here we used that back to the future, because as we look 3 years ahead, we talk in the past tense as though we've already arrived and achieved those goals. Next slide. Thank you. And so we were able to develop a club motto. It's, what is the Rotary Club of Brownsville known for? Shine bright and vibrant with Sunrise Rotary. And you can see the established committee members just established the club motto, and then we would end up providing it in one of our club meetings, and then through consensus and through an informal poll, everybody agreed that that would be our motto going forward. Next slide. Club size. This is where membership, where all of our members that were involved in the club visioning agreed that we should be, by the end of the 3rd year, at 75 members strong. And in fact, we were actually at 64 to 65 up through the 2nd year, and we were able to help sponsor a satellite club, and that satellite club then became a newly chartered club at the latter part of 2022. That dropped our numbers down to 38. So then we revisited the 75, saying from 38 to 75 in the 3rd year wasn't achievable, but breaking it down into manageable components, we knew that we needed to net gain 6 in each and every year to stay on track with regards to our membership goal. Thank you, Farron. Next slide. And then each of these slides coming forward are just a quick blip as to what our perception was as a club when we decided to increase our ability to adapt. We increased our ability to adapt, again in the past tense, by partnering with the community, supporting our youth programs, and developing fellowship through our monthly socials. Next slide. To expand our reach, we expanded our reach by incorporating younger members and making sure that everyone is engaged and active in Rotary. We respect multicultural components of our community and the club, and want the club to reflect our community, and understand that the way to further expand our reach is through social media. Next slide. To enhance participant engagement, we enhanced our participant engagement through our members, through our socials, and we came up with an idea, Minute at the Mic, where members have an opportunity, whether they're the new members and or our current members, keeping members informed, sharing a little bit about their why did they join Rotary, why are they still in Rotary? And it also gives us an opportunity to share what our upcoming activities are and what have you. We developed a WhatsApp, not only one for the board members and the lane chairs, but also for our members at large. So there's 2 different apps that we use to effectively communicate in real time. And we focused on orientation for all new members and developing our existing members through various different programs like Rotary Leadership Institute training, sending our president and president nominees to Lone Star Pets, the leadership summits, And in many instances, our club finances these endeavors and these to allow our members to grow. Next slide. To increase our impact, we impacted our local and international community through our incredible Charro Days fundraiser. That's an annual fundraiser where we celebrate our binational cultures between Mexico and ourselves here in Brownsville. And they make it as a fundraiser, as well as park cleanups, our Monarch Butterfly program, and our youth scholarship program and youth services to help our youth become the best they can be. And at this time, I know it is at the 10-minute mark, so I will turn the program back over to Tom Gump.
Well, just one final question that you can answer in just a few seconds. What percentage of your club actually participates in the visioning, and how do you choose who participates and who doesn't?
At the time when we met, we were at about 52 strong, and we had 25 members show up, so it was a representative body. And then, of course, we bring all the members to the fold with this PowerPoint, explained what that process was and where we were heading from there. And then we asked each member, we had a sign-up sheet, select an area of one of the 4 strategic priorities, whatever their passion was. You want to go into membership, you want to join the committee for fundraising, for social media. Each one, not every single person signed up for a committee. Many signed up for 2 and 3 committees, and they had breakout sessions so that they could complete the goals for that particular master plan associated to, and the action plans. And I can tell you in another session what the results were, as we are in year 3 and getting ready to go through another visioning cycle in early January or February of 2025.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Andy.
Thank
Now
you.
we will have our second poll. Okay. Do you know what your club goals are? Yes or no? And the good news is the vast majority, 66%, do know what the goals are. It's important to have a goal. It's like going on a diet. You got to step on that scale to know, where you are at, and then you got to set that goal and get the buy-in from your club. So it's good that we know that. And those that don't, we know what we need to do. We need to set those goals. So now, hailing from Nebraska, USA, is District Governor nominee Stu Shepard. So, Stu, I have just one question for you, but it's a compound, complex question. So once the goals have been set, how do we keep those goals out in front of our members? And secondly, how do we motivate them to work towards those goals?
Yeah, thanks, Tom. Well, we're in a unique spot here. We're in Western Nebraska. We're miles and miles away from each other. And we can never take our eye off membership. When we have new people in our community, we got to go after them. So that's our lifeblood. But to keep, it's everyone's responsibility to work on membership and to keep those goals in front of everybody. It's the club presidents, the club officers. It's all of us on this call. We can't take our eye off of that ever. I think the goals, they have to be communicated, they have to be understood, and they have to motivate action. That's what we need. I think a lot about younger people in our community joining our club, and that, most of them are going to be beginning in their career. They have lots of needs that perhaps we don't have or we can't relate to. And I really think about that a lot, of how we can help them be a part of Rotary and help us accomplish our goals, but at the same time, a benefit to their lives. They come with lots of unique experiences that enhance our club, but we can also help them be successful in their life and in their careers. So keeping these goals in front of everybody needs to be a part of every meeting. You can make it fun. You can create membership moments, leave members to highlight their Rotary journey, how the goals are applicable to them. One of the best ways to generate excitement is through storytelling. And humans understand the world around them through storytelling, and we've got millions of stories in Rotary. It makes it fun, and I think if we can show that what's fun in Rotary, we'll attract new members and we'll be able to accomplish those goals. I was with a Rotary club last week, and I noticed that they used a digital platform up in front, and Andy spoke to that at one of his clubs. Those work perfect to get those goals in front of everybody. You can also use it to highlight membership profiles, upcoming events, social occasions, but to really focus on those goals and have those rotating so that during the meeting, people are seeing those multiple times. The other thing is the social events that Andy spoke to. I wrote that down on mine also. So important to attract new people, and maybe not as threatening as some of our meetings are, but an opportunity to get to know people a little bit better, and then make an invitation to come and be a part of our club. I think just a recap, we got to keep the energy high. We got to keep the goals in front of each other, tell stories. The membership moments I think, are some of the best ways that we get to know each other a little bit better. Sometimes the clubs are so big that you don't have an opportunity to meet the people on the left and right of you as well as you'd like to. So those are opportunities to put the goals in front of people, but each one of us have to be a champion of those goals and really work every single meeting and help those club presidents and officers keep that energy alive.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Stu, for that. Let me ask you this. For those, you're going to be district governor in just a couple years here. For those on the line who are district governor now or about to be district governor, what can you do in that role to keep the club presidents excited about the goals?
I think constant communication with them. We live pretty far from each other, so the opportunity to get together face to face is more difficult, but we've got Zoom, email, text, whatever. Use all of the tools to keep in touch with each other. I think just from being at the conference in San Antonio, we've already built, we brought 11 people with us, and we've already put an alliance together that's supportive of each other and communicating on a daily basis on the various social platforms. So it's that kind of thing. We may not see each other face to face and we may not be near each other, but we can sure support each other and keep the energy alive.
Thanks, Stu. That's great advice, and really appreciate you being here tonight. So we will now cut to poll number 3. How often do you review your club goals? Weekly, monthly, quarterly, or never? I'm just glad it doesn't say all the above. Okay, it looks like most review quarterly, which seems to make a lot of sense considering what Andy told us about every 3 years you'd be updating the vision statement for your club. So quarterly seems like the right answer. Okay, so now from San Antonio, Texas, USA, we have the District 5840 Rotaract Chair, a Rotarian, Andres Trevino. And when he puts his picture on the screen, we're going to be asking him about the third action plan priority, which is enhancing participant engagement.
Hi.
Hello, Andres, how are you?
Hi from San Antonio, Texas.
Wonderful. So Rotary International has changed its focus to be participant-centered. They took $15 million out of the budget and has a director now who's in charge of various departments, including membership, and our technology, to have it be participant-centered. So tell us about that action plan priority and how important it is to our organization and how it's going to make us thrive.
Yeah, so I think this is one of our number one goals, and I've heard a lot about telling stories. And I love Rotary Club because it just lets me be myself. And so I just want to tell you about a service project I had this last weekend. We went to Town Twin Village. And if you've never heard of Town Twin Village, it's a place where they give homeless people a home, homeless people that are over 50 years old and they've been on the street for a long time. There's a place where they can get a home for a low cost rent. And it's an organization, it's a community of people that are trying to do better with their lives. And we organized it through Rotary, but when we showed up, there were other students there with the top honors with UTSA. And it was just great to see all those young kids out there working. And they have service hours that they need to complete to get their degrees. And that's why they're out there. But when they see me with my Rotary shirt on and they ask, what is Rotary? And I get to tell them about Rotary. And, have you ever heard about Rotaract? Because Rotaract is something that you need. It's what I'm seeing right now. It's more than 8 people coming together doing a service project for a university. And seeing all those people get engaged and trying to make it fun, right? Rotary Club is an organization that's been around for 100 years. And that we've had the 4-way test for as long as it's been around. And we've just recently talked about how much fun Rotary Club is. And I think that's the gospel that we need to spread to people, is how much fun we're having in Rotary Club and what's it all about.
The gospel according to Andrews, I love it.
Yeah.
It's so important, that work, because when you're homeless, you don't have a place to take calls, and it's hard to connect with your family and find a job because you don't have an address or a phone number. So thank you for doing all that. Now, I know that it took a number of years after surveys and focus groups to actually have what turned out to be our vision statement and the action plan. I'm curious as to why we use the word participant, enhancing participant engagement, as opposed to using the word member or Rotarian and Rotaractors. Why is that?
Participant versus member, I would say that everybody's a potential member and that there's always a place in Rotary for you in your life. Some people have their reasons for not joining Rotary. A lot of people say, I'm too busy for Rotary, but your busy life just gets busier. And I know people don't show up to every meeting, and they can't show up to a service project once a month, but they pay their dues on their members. So a member is anybody that cares about Rotary Club. A participant is anybody that shows up to the service projects and they have potential to become a member. But we do have Interact, Early Act, Rotaract, and Rotary for all stages of your life. And I feel that Rotary Club is for everybody.
Well, that's great. And I agree with you. I know my family, we've hosted exchange students, and sometimes people don't want to join my Rotary Club because they feel they don't have time, but they want to do that hosting program. And we've had a number of host families after they hosted who actually wanted to join the club and did join the club. So it is important when we're out there in our Rotary community cores or interacting with anyone that we make those participants front and center, not just our members. So thank you very much for being with us here tonight, and those are great answers. And do you have anything else you want to say, Andres, before we go to our poll?
Yeah, I know my 10 minutes is running up quickly, so let me just plug what I can plug. We have Pints for Polio on Saturday, October 26th at Man Overboard Brewery. Please come out. We have sponsorship and tickets. Register on Eventbrite. We have RLI on September 21st at Northwest Vista, and we're installing a peace pole, so come out at 8 in the morning to see that. My call to action is come out to Calgary and see me in Calgary, and we'll hang out and have a beer or something.
I love it. You're not just talking about engagement, you're actually getting people engaged. I appreciate that. And thanks for doing
I know I have a lot of
video.
friends that are watching me right now, and they're like, "Hi, Andres, we can't wait to see you in Calgary." And I know I'll see you in Calgary. Come see me.
We're going to have a lot of fun there. And if
All
you
right.
want to come in February to Istanbul for the Peace Conference, that's going to be a lot of fun too.
Thank you.
So,
I appreciate
thank you.
your invitation.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, we're going to go to poll 4. Has your club entered their goals on Club Central? Yes, no, or don't know. Okay, this one's a little bit closer. 59% have entered their goals into Club Central. 12% haven't, and some don't know. So the question is, why is it important to do that? Well, there's certain individuals like the governor's line. Stu will tell you that when he's working on things for the district, his district, they need to know what the goals are because they set district-wide goals. And then the coordinators use those district-wide goals to set their goals, which the directors, we have 17 directors for 34 zones. They use those goals because now they are having, just recently, the board decided that the directors are responsible for 3-year goals at their level. So it's really important. So we've had a lot of great information here tonight. So what I'd like to do is for all the panelists to come back online, back on screen, show us your pretty faces. And we're going to go down the line. We're going to go in the order we went that you responded. And we want you to say just one thing that you want your audience, the audience here tonight, to take with them, one thing they could remember and implement back at their club. So we'll start with Bokar.
Well, thanks for having me back. But the one thing I really would like to say is follow the vision and the action plan and make sure it aligns with your with the goals. Those can be done, and it can be a very good tool to energize your club and recruit more members.
So Bokar, if we're having district trainings, if we're having club trainings, would you organize those trainings around the vision statement and the action plan priorities?
Always, because that you have a target. So once we align those, it shows every effort that we are making contribute to the greater good and the vision of Rotary. Absolutely, I would.
I think that's very good advice because for years we've done the 3-legged stool where we talk about, membership, when we talk about foundation, we talk about public image, but the action plan actually goes deeper into those. And with its participant focus, we actually get concrete steps we can take that'll really make our clubs, and when our clubs thrive, Rotary thrives. So thank you, Bokar. Andy, do you have one last piece of wisdom for our audience?
I can't say enough about the importance of goal setting and the benefits to motivate your members, to keep them engaged, to keep them focused. And it's that sense of what is the prioritization and what activities are we undergoing each and every day? And how does it relate to our overall vision? And is it lending to that vision and moving forward or not? So it really helps it with the aspect of accountability as well.
Wonderful. So without goals, it's just a wish or a hope. It's not a plan. And we need plans if we want Rotary to thrive. Thank you, PDG Andy. Stu, we need some brilliance from you.
I've had the opportunity to work in countries around the world because my wife and I traveled with people for many, many years. And we've worked with Rotary clubs in countries all over the world. And this is an organization that is doing amazing things in how it touches people's lives and brings communities together. And it's that energy that motivates me, even at our small club level, to know that we are part of something much bigger and doing great work in this world.
Wonderful. Thank you, Stu. And Andres, what is your last piece of information you want us to take away from this session?
I want everybody to follow the Pro Rotary Club on Facebook, but also an easy way to tell everybody that you love Rotary Club is to wear your pin. And if you want to find a Canadian pin, I'll tell you a secret. Go find Scott Rainey because he has all the international pins. All right, that's the secret for today.
And what's the Scott Rainey taunt, or what does he say for Calgary?
I don't know. Oh, Yahoo?
Yahoo!
Yahoo!
Yeah,
All right.
Yahoo.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this
That's
has been a wonderful session. I'm now going to turn it back over to Lloyd for the final comments.
New computer. You have to shoot me for that one. First, I want to thank the panelists for taking the time out to share with us their ideas and talk to us exactly how important goal setting is. It is sort of at the heart of a little bit of what we do if we want to be successful. If you don't have a plan, you don't know where you're going, trust me, that's exactly where you're going to be, somewhere out with no idea what you're supposed to try to accomplish. So goal setting is extremely important. You know, at the beginning of this, I mentioned that we're going to have a call to action, something that we would like for you to do between now and our next webinar. Our first one was simply, I'm curious, what do you think would be a good call to action? Don't ask Tom, because he'll want us to double membership within a month. I'm curious, our panelists, what do you think would be a good call to action? When you think about the things you've done, and if you wanted to improve something, what would be a good call of action?
Tell a stranger about Rotary Club. Tell somebody you don't know.
Okay. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that was the youngest member on our panel coming up with an idea just that.
I was going to say, for members that aren't as familiar or are aware of the goals, go back and ask the club leadership, what are our goals? And perhaps they can have a club meeting, or during their club assembly, they could have each of the club leaders or those that are responsible for the various different activities report out goal versus action. Where do we stand today? Maybe incorporate that as part of your club assemblies, either twice or 4 times a year. Thank you.
Stuart, Bokar?
Well, I think it's really follow the action plan, right? Try it. Try to align your club goals to the action plan. Try it and see how it works. And then you have all the resources that you can benchmark from other clubs that will be able to help you really get it aligned. I think that would be the main thing. Like you said, if you don't have guidance, you don't have a guide, and you don't have deliverables, like a cadence in which you're going to be looking at your goals, figuring out where you need to put the effort. I think those are the things I think we need to have. Develop a cadence, follow the action plan, and repeat it. PDCA, plan, do, check, act, do it again and again. Whatever's not working, improve it and move to the next. And you have a lot of other people you can benchmark.
Great. Stuart, any last comments? Are you muted?
I totally agree with Bokar, and we've got to keep those action plans in front of people's faces. Memorize them. They work.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think one of the things that listening to the whole group here and all the things that you said here and looking at the polls, one of the things that was really interesting to me was that 41% of us either didn't know the goals or had no idea about our goals. And to be honest with you, that's a little disturbing. So, one of the things that we might want to do is very similar to what each of you have said in one form or another, is that for our call to action should be, do you know what your club goals are and where you are now? Another add to that would probably be, what are you going to do to achieve your goal? So we will have a poll on that at our next meeting and get some idea about if you're actually doing some of the things that we're talking about, which are best practices believe it or not, I have nothing else to say. I'm sure everybody's going to laugh because they know how much I love to talk. But I want to thank everyone for being a part of this. I want to thank everyone from, not only the panelists, but I guess who decided to come and listen about membership. Membership is our #1 internal priority. We need to stay focused on that. And with this group that we have here and the effort we're putting out, I'm sure we're going to be successful. So unless anyone else has something to say. Great. I can't believe Tom is not saying anything. Wow.
Just one comment.
Okay.
Bill Bruce wanted to know if we can get a copy of Andy's slides.
I'll make it available. We can make them available, sure. And I was going to make one more comment that with this club visioning, we don't task the presidents and or those that follow in that succession plan with following through on action plans. We've specified someone to be an impact leader. And in our district, I'm saying that title at the club level, the impact leader is responsible for carrying forward matching goals to action plans and reporting out where do we stand each and every year for that 3-year period. But with Rotary International's rollout of encouraging all districts and clubs to create and look at a progression of goals over a 3-year, let's say the multi-year plan, I think we're going to end up changing the impact leader's position and description to the action plan champion. That's where we're heading next in the 5930. Thank you, Tom.
We are people of action, so that makes sense to me.
Okay, then. Well, I want to thank everyone for being a part of this. And also, I want to be able to tell you, we kept our promise. We started on time, and we're actually going to leave on time, too. So thanks again. And we look forward for you being at our next webinar. It's the 3rd Tuesday of each month at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. So thanks again.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.